a really lovely day and it feels great to be outside. So let's get started with UDL. Students that have multiple or complex learning needs are really my favorite group, and I really love them, and I must because I've been working with them for most of my career, which is 35 years. That's kind of long. But from my perspective, ADL offers access to these learners through its flexible teaching and learning methods, number one, and materials, number two. So UDL features a flexible curriculum that adapts to a range of diverse learners. So it offers more than one option for students to engage, to learn, and to execute something schoolish or educational. What I like is that UDL assumes variability without first even knowing the learners. Accessibility options are planned to counteract potential barriers before they've even hindered a learner. Since I began my work as a physical therapist, I like analogies between physical universal design for architectural and physical structures and universal design for learning. Stairs are an obvious barrier to a person with mobility limitations, such as a wheelchair user, just as text is a barrier to a non-reader or a struggling reader. Universally designed entrances have either no stairs or a ramp that modifies vertical travel to and from the entrance. Ramps and stairs are similar in that both require action or effort by an individual, and that even includes driving a power wheelchair. Not all multi-level buildings have elevators, but those that do offer a barrier-free physical environment to those who have mobility limitations and to mobile people who appreciate the convenience. Notice that accessibility, entrances, and elevators don't interfere with folks who don't need them and who use the stairs, but their presence enhances accessibility for everyone. For example, able-bodied parents who are pushing their child in a stroller use and benefit from these universal design entrances. Since text in print, in ink, on paper is a barrier to those who struggle to decode words and derive meaning from text, it needs to be ramped or adapted. Electronic text is the most flexible text because it can be manipulated. Visual contrast can be changed, font size can be enlarged, and text can be read aloud, and some e-text can even be highlighted word for word or sentence by sentence as it's being read. When reading to learn something, the idea or the concept that's being learned can be presented to or represented in a different way as an alternative or a replacement for text, just the way that an elevator replaces the stairs. Video, for example, can convey ideas and concepts, how to do things, and it can even embody literature. Electronic text or e-text and video are two ways that UDL acts as a ramp or an elevator for students with significant learning needs. But to be truly inclusive, we need a little bit more. We need to appropriately challenge all students. Students need clear learning objectives and effective formative and summative assessments. This feels like the hard part of universally designed learning because it's been so overshadowed by teaching and learning methods, at least for me. As an assistive tech specialist, the tools I have often mitigate barriers to learning. So looking at materials and methods is something I've naturally been doing already. Assessments are not something I've been as planful about. I think it's interesting that UDL curriculum goals look beyond the usual content and performance goals and value goals around the development of expert learners. Affective goals like enthusiasm for learning and ability to self-regulate during a lesson. Actually, as I think about it, enthusiasm for learning is something I've paid attention to as I've worked with teachers to find the right balance of presentation, participation, student activity, and methods to engage and sustain student attention through entire lessons. I've also personally found that sharing at the end of an activity is very engaging to students with complex learning needs, and it's also a means of assessment. So unwittingly, I used formative assessment to measure the effectiveness of writing lessons I designed and co-taught. I logged data as each student shared their work during the sharing time, counting and recording the number of words written during writing time. This helped us know which guidance and which activities helped students engage and self-regulate throughout the lessons. Really, as I think about it, my physical therapy training must have prepared me to some extent for thinking about clear goals and effective assessments. Now I just need to use the UDL framework to write clear learning goals and effective assessments. Thanks for listening.